This is the F111 Aardvark, and it was brought about, and the Americans decided they needed to reinvent the way they were doing bombing, and they wanted to have high altitude strategic bombers, but they also wanted to have strike aircraft and low altitude, whatever. It's a long story, and I probably should get into a deeper dive on this aircraft because it is quite an amazing aircraft, but I haven't got a lot of time, so I'm just going to do one little thing about one of the quite unique features of this aircraft. You see, if you look at the cockpit, you can see there's actually kind of like a line of rivets coming down and across, then a back up around the front of the cockpit. And the reason for that is because, unlike pretty much any other aircraft, the way this worked, if you needed to bang out, you weren't sitting on a pair of Martin Bakers like most contemporary aircraft of the time. In order to eject from this, the entire cockpit section would be fired away and yeeted off the aircraft, so that the pilot and his co-pilot, navigator, observer slash whatever, they would both come down in this entire like garden shed of safety as the aircraft was crashing and getting hit or whatever else. So instead of ejector seats, this had an entire ejector pod that would come out and then exit the aircraft and take you to safety. And it's worthy of a little side note that the F111 was the first aircraft that kind of embraced the concept of variable geometry wings, this idea that you could change the wings so that they could perform better at low speeds, but then also readapt them so that when you went to high speeds, and like, you know, Mach 1 plus or whatever, you then had a wing profile that actually worked better in that environment, so you could have a bit of a best of the both worlds thing going on. Something the Tornado did, and a Russian airplane that I can't remember right offhand. I'll look it up, I'll put the name here. Actually, never mind, I've remembered. It was one I had to Google, I'm not going to lie, I had to Google it. It was the Fencer, it was the Sukhoi, and then there was the Backfire, the Tupolev, the Backfire bomber, which also had swing wings. So there was a couple of Russians that had the variable geometry, and then there was this thing, and then there was the Tornado, and I don't know, in the comments if you know of any others.